In a cozy corner of Emily's bedroom stood an antique grandfather clock. Its mahogany wood gleamed softly in the golden light slipping through lace curtains, and its brass pendulum swayed back and forth, swinging with a rhythm as timeless as the seasons. The clock had been her grandmother's gift on Emily's 8th birthday, a family heirloom passed from one generation to another, carrying with it the quiet wisdom of those who came before her. "Remember, Emily," Grandma had said as she placed a small, cool brass key into her granddaughter's hand. "This clock is special. Wind it every Sunday evening, and it will keep perfect time. But more importantly, it will remind you something valuable about life." At that age, time wasn't something Emily thought much about. It was an abstract notion, something slippery and infinite. School days felt endless, summers stretched on forever, and the future was some far-off land she hardly imagined visiting. Still, she took the key and dutifully wound the clock each week, marveling at the intricate gears and the steady resonance of its ticking, which soon became the background music to her childhood. The deep, resonant chimes marked the passage of hours in her world. They echoed warmly over homework scattered on the dining table, accompanied laughter over family dinners, and hummed just beneath the bedtime stories her dad whispered as she fought sleep. Over time, the chiming and ticking grew so constant that Emily barely noticed it anymore, until one day, she did. By now, Emily was 12, and the neat, manageable rhythm of early childhood had given way to the chaotic staccato of middle school. Her days were dictated by color-coded schedules, math tests to cram for, soccer practice to run drills at, piano lessons to get through, and a steady stream of texts lighting up her phone. Time suddenly felt scarce, a resource to be hoarded and meticulously portioned out. That particular Tuesday began in a flurry of activity. By the time Emily burst into her bedroom after school, she was already running late. She had 20 minutes to change for soccer, 15 minutes to bike to the field, and drills that would run straight into the evening. Tossing her backpack on the bed, Emily opened her dresser and started digging for her practice jersey when she froze. The room felt wrong, eerily quiet. Her gaze darted to the clock. The pendulum hung still like a breath held too long. The delicate black hands had stopped at 3:45. "Oh no," she muttered, the realization hitting her. She had forgotten to wind it. For the first time in years, the clock had fallen silent. She checked her phone, 4:17 p.m. There was no time to deal with the clock now, not if she wanted to avoid Coach Bennett's wrath. She resolved to fix it later and rushed out the door, though the silence of her room lingered in her thoughts like a shadow. By the time soccer practice ended, the sun had dipped below the horizon, and Emily was utterly drained. Every muscle ached, and all she wanted was to collapse onto her bed. She trudged upstairs, flung herself onto the mattress without even turning on the light, and stared into the shadowed outlines of her room. That silence, she realized, was still there. It pressed against her ears louder than any sound could. With a groan, Emily switched on her bedside lamp and sat up. The clock's unmoving hands stood frozen in silent accusation, a reminder of her neglect. She shuffled to her desk, retrieved the brass key, and crouched in front of the clock to open its delicate glass door.
"All right," she murmured, sliding the key into the winding slot. "Let's fix this."
The moment the key turned, something extraordinary happened. The room seemed to shimmer like the air above hot pavement. The light shifted, colors deepened, and an unfamiliar voice echoed around her. "Well, that took long enough," said the clock, its tone rich and gentle, carrying a weight that seemed to reverberate in her chest. Emily stumbled back in shock, her heart battering against her ribs. Did you just talk?" "Indeed I did," the clock replied, its pendulum swinging to life. "I don't speak often, but sometimes it's necessary. And Emily, I believe now is one of those times." She stared, mouth agape. "Clocks don't talk." "This one does," it answered with a hint of amusement. "I've been keeping time for your family for over a century, long enough to see a thing or two. And right now, I think you need a reminder about what's truly important." Emily frowned, crossing her arms. "A reminder? About what? I'm busy. I have practice and homework and exams. It's not like I just waste my time." "Busy," the clock repeated softly. Its gears clicked gently as if considering her words. "You spend your life rushing from one thing to another, But when was the last time you truly noticed a moment? Really noticed one? Emily opened her mouth, then closed it, faltering. You weren't always like this, the clock continued, its tone almost wistful. You used to listen to the stories your grandmother told you. You used to sit by the window just to watch the leaves fall. But now, you're always racing forward, never stopping to breathe. That's not fair, Emily snapped, guilt welling as heat in her cheeks. It's not like I'm trying to ignore things. Everyone wants something from me, my teachers, my coach, my friends. I can't just stop. The clock's pendulum swung steadily. Do you want to see where that path leads? Before Emily could respond, the room shimmered again. Suddenly, she stood in a house that resembled her own, but subtly changed. The walls were a different shade, the furniture arranged just out of place. A woman in her 30s sat at a dining table, surrounded by glowing screens and scattered papers. Emily squinted before gasping. The woman was her, but older, with tired eyes and a face set in lines of stress. Future Emily answered her phone. Grandma? Oh gosh, I forgot about lunch again. I'm so sorry. Work's been crazy. Can we reschedule for next week? The scene shifted. A funeral now. Emily's older self stood weeping by a casket, clutching the brass key tightly in her hand. I thought there'd be more time, future Emily whispered. Back in her bedroom, the vision dissolved, leaving Emily breathless and trembling. That's not my future, is it? It's one possibility, the clock said. Your choices today shape your tomorrows. Emily swallowed hard. How do I change it? Start small, the clock replied. Call your grandmother, watch the sunset. Be where you are, instead of racing where you're not. The clock's words settled over her like a blanket, warm yet heavy with meaning. She leaned forward and wound it fully, giving the pendulum a gentle push to set it swinging again, its ticking filling the room once more. That night, Emily turned off her notifications, focused on her homework, and called her grandmother before bed. I'd love to have lunch this weekend, she said softly. Her grandmother's delighted laugh on the other end of the line filled her heart with joy. From that day forward, Emily learned to make time, not just keep it, and the ticking grandfather clock stood silently, its job not only to mark the hours, but to remind her that how she filled them mattered most.